Well, hello. I thought I would give you, I guess, a multi-part series here on some of the screen functions and navigation of the SD-90. And I think in this particular series, we'll keep each one to just a few minutes, and we'll go over various aspects of the screen and some of the details in some of the submenus. So what I thought I'd start with today is that the top third of the screen is fairly consistent in most cases. It doesn't change. I mean, it really depends on where you're at and what the context of the menus you're in. But I thought I would go through and explain the meaning of some of the items in the top third of the screen. The top third is broken up into three parts. The left part, currently where it says Jasmine, is the style section associated with the SD-90. The middle section is some parameters associated with the current settings of the arranger, and the right side, right upper third, is related to the melody or lead parts that are associated with what you have set on the SD-90. So in the very upper section of the styles portion of the screen, which is on the left, you'll see that it says unplugged. This is the group that the style belongs to. So obviously you have some different groupings. So for example, if I picked rock, you'll see that changes to rock. If I pick dance, it'll change to dance. The next item to the right of that is the variation that you have selected. So for example, that's variation A, that's variation B, that's variation C, that's variation D. Some of them even have two variations per part, in which case there'll be a -1, a -2. The numerals or numbers 1/8 indicate what how many bars are associated with this particular variation and what bar is currently being played. So that will sequence from number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on down the line until it gets to 8, and then it'll loop and cycle back. Variations can be of any bar length from 1 bar to 128, which is the maximum that you can play in terms of the number of bars in a variation on the SD-90. The numbers that are underneath that relate to the volumes associated with each of the sections of the arranger. So the left one is the drums. So you'll see as I change the drum volume from its lowest to its highest, it'll go from 0 to 63. This is the case for the bass section, the chord section, and then also the lower section as well. In the upper right-hand corner is the overall volume of the styles that will play. So this is the master volume that you see moving up there in the upper right-hand corner. If we jump now all the way to the right, this is the sort of the lead part of the SD-90. So right now we have it's in the group is in the upper left-hand corner. That's the piano group, and the type of voice or preset that we're using is called romantic. And of course, you know, for example, if I wanted to select a jazz piano or a vibe, you'll see that that's what we have, and the actual tone comes up, or the voice in this particular case comes up in the middle. Remember that a voice can be more than just one preset. So for example, if I went and I looked at, let's see what's on romantic. Let's pick something else. See what's on. So you'll see here I have, you know, different pianos that make up the grand piano sound. So you can have 3 voices for the lead, and then there's a second voice that's completely controlled through an independent fader in addition to that. To the upper right of the on the lead section, you have a volume indicator. Again, you have a slider that will go from 0 to 63, which is the max. And then the lower 2 items, sustain and mod wheel, indicate what settings you currently have for those particular function types. So you can reassign them and have them used for other purposes, such as going from fast to slow on the rotors, or for morphing in and out, and so on. So basically it allows for quick indication of what you have the mod wheel and the sustain pedal set for. In the middle, in the upper left-hand corner, we have the time signature. Obviously, that could be, you know, anything. To the right of that is the metronome, sort of tells you what beat you're at and will count through for you. To the right of that is the tempo. Below that is the octave that you're currently in. So the unit has a very nice feature right on the front panel, is I can instantly change the let me just show you here if I can. You can instantly change. So as you can see, if I, you know, and it really just takes one button to be able to shift the entire octave. Same thing with transpose. I can transpose it up. So you'll see I'm just playing the same chord. Anyways, that's what, let me put this back. So that's what that particular feature does. And then we have the split point. So if you were playing a piano or you were using the SD-90 with a single keyboard where to the left of a certain point you wanted the arranger functions to come into play, you can program and you can set that. So for example, you know, let me show you this here real quick. So you'll see here, I'm changing the split point. Now, if you're an accordion player, you won't need to do this because the settings for an accordion don't require it. But certainly you can if you're not playing an accordion and you're playing a piano or a keyboard or a MIDI controller. And then below that is the chord that you're currently playing, so which is used for the arranger as well. So as you can see here, you know, if I'm so that'll tell you what chord you're playing all the time, and will drive what the main arranger functions are and how they operate. So that kind of shows you the the gist of what some of the parameters and indicators are in the top third. And in subsequent videos, we'll start talking about other portions of the screen, including the middle section and the lower section.